Got it.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited to welcome you all to the Enabling Summit panel entitled From Labs to the Marketplace, the Promise of Neurotechnologies for Assistive Technologies. My name is Teresa Vaughn, and I'm a researcher at the National Center for Adaptive Neurotechnologies in Albany, New York. And I'm the chair of the G3 ICT NeuroAbilities Project Advisory Council. In 2006, as probably many of you already know, the UN established the Global Initiative for Inclusive Information and Communication Technologies, or the G3 ICT, to advocate for the digital rights of persons with disabilities. In 2019, with funding from the McGovern Foundation, the G3 ICT formed NeuroAbilities, the NeuroAbilities Project, with this in mind, to increase public awareness of the promise and realities of neurotechnologies, to pursue dialogue among researchers, developers, and manufacturers of neurotechnologies, to put them together with disability advocates, regulatory folks, and bioethicists, to emphasize the involvement, especially of consumers and potential consumers with disabilities in all of these activities. And all of this in the service of growth, innovation, and translation for these technologies for these consumers. This year, the Enabling Summit for the first time is hosting a panel from the NeuroAbilities Project. And we cannot wait to hear what our moderator, Dr. Mohammed Lafti, who is the executive director of the advocacy group Disabled Peoples International and a senior advisor, capacity builder, and advocacy head for the G3 ICT. And our panelists, Dr. Florian Schlosbacher, who innovates as the co-founder and chairman of BlackRock, and Dr. Anna Marquez, who chases her dreams as the founder and CEO of Neuroelectrics. What they have to say and what we have to look forward to. Hopefully this panel will generate even more crosstalk so that these technologies can have as much impact as possible. So I hand it off happily to Mohammed and look very forward to listening.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We have a wonderful panel. We have distinguished speakers and experts in the area of neurotechnologies to talk about how to promote neurotechnologies and make it more relevant to assistive technologies for end users, particularly persons with disabilities. I would like to start by asking my colleague, Cassandra Sparrow, who's the program manager of NeuroAbilities at G3 ICT, to share with us some demographics that are related to this.
The host has spotlighted your video for everyone.
Cassandra?
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The goal of my 2 minutes with you today is to give you some high-level numbers of the unmet needs of millions of individuals and families worldwide. As our speakers today will be speaking about neurotechnologies and specifically brain-computer interfaces, I would like to give you an idea of how many people these technologies may affect. In terms of overall disabilities worldwide, the United Nations and World Health Organization estimate that nearly 1 billion people live with disabilities. This encompasses a vast array of functional areas. This includes cognitive, physical, vision, hearing, and communication disabilities. The Centers for Disease Control in the United States estimates that 61 million adults experience a disability. Along with this, we must also consider mental health as one of the most profound unmet public health needs. Nearly 1 billion people, as estimated by the World Health Organization, experience a mental health issue. With paralysis or the loss of a limb, in the US, 2.1 million people have experienced the loss of a limb. And worldwide, an estimation in 2017 said that more than 57.7 million people were living with the loss of a limb. That concludes my brief setup for everyone today. I do turn now back to Mohammed. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra, for sharing these important demographics. I would like now to welcome our distinguished panelists. And please allow me to introduce them. I'm so honored to be with on this panel, joining our distinguished panelists. Our first panelist is Miss Anna Mikis. Anna is the CEO of Neuroelectrics, and she was nominated by IESE as one of the most influential entrepreneurs under 40 in Spain in 2010. She received the European Union Prize
The host
for
has
Women
spotlighted your video for everyone.
Innovators from the European Commission in 2014. In 2015 and 2016, she was nominated as one of the most inspiring women, on the Inspiring 50 list in Europe. Anna continues breaking the barriers of science and technology in an impactful way with business and ethics. Our second distinguished panelist, Dr. Florian Salzbacher. Dr. Salzbacher is the co-founder and the chairperson of BlackRock Neurotech. He is also a professor and the chair of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering and director of the Center for Engineering Innovation at the University of Utah. Dr. Salzbacher holds adjunct appointments as a professor in material science and professor of biomedical engineering at the University of Utah as well. He is a fellow of the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineers, AIMBE, and a senior member of the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEEE. I would like to ask our distinguished panelists now to introduce themselves. We are going to have 3 minutes for introductions. And I would like also to mention that throughout the session, we're going to have Teresa helping us monitor the time. And 1 minute before your time is up, she will give you a sign to wrap up. So my question to both of you, Anna and Florian, is why and how you got started in the field of neurotechnologies for persons with disabilities, what technologies and products you are working on now, what impact such technology has shown, and how has it changed lives of end users, and how it may in the future. Anna, the floor is yours, please.
Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's amazing to be here. Thank you very much. So, I'm the CEO of Neuroelectrics. My co-founder is a physicist and a mathematician. And I think that what drives me every day since I incorporated the company 10 years ago is a passion for science and also the commitment to turn that science into social impact, right? So that's why I really love this forum. In Neuroelectrics, we are really developing what we believe is going to be novel therapies, non-invasive brain stimulation, what we also call transcranial current stimulation. And if you see in the internet, I don't have it with me, but it's this cup with electrodes that can deliver currents into your brain non-invasively. And we are currently working on an FDA pivotal trial to reduce seizures in children
The host has
with
spotlighted
epilepsy.
your video for everyone.
And also on depression. Cassandra mentioned mental health, right? Aging. I mean, all these cognitive disabilities, right? That we will suffer after the pandemic even more, or even with the aging. Unfortunately, drugs don't provide a solution today. So I think that entrepreneurs like Neuroelectrics and novel companies are really forced to develop new therapies for patients that are suffering today. So we are really leading this non-invasive revolution. We really are working restlessly to really make sure these technologies reach patients that are suffering today. And we just got breakthrough designation by the FDA in our FDA trial. So we are very happy about that. And we hope that in less than 2 years, we can bring our technology non-invasively as a new therapy that doesn't exist today. So I'm very happy to participate in this panel.
Right. Should I jump in? I believe we're otherwise muted.
Yes, and
Thank you.
please.
All right. Well, welcome everybody.
Currently
It's
on.
a great pleasure and honor to be here. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak. Yeah, I'm an electrical engineer by training, and where all of this started probably goes back almost 3 decades when I was a teenager, starting with actually my mother as a physiotherapist started working a lot with people with disabilities. And during my time in boarding school in the UK, I spent 2 years working with disabled children in particular. And it already at that time struck me how
Reach your call to
inaccessible
me.
I felt
Able to
it
turn your
was
voice over
as
off.
a
We hear you every time
society
you zoomed out.
to not be offering any major solutions that went beyond what people have had for centuries. So then I ended up in my studies pursuing electrical engineering and biomedical engineering as focus areas. Ended up actually doing a business in a different field out of my graduate studies, but then returned to the University of Utah on faculty about 18 years ago, and started focusing in earnest on trying to help develop technologies that help people who've lost function due to injury, accidents, or diseases. And it was really focused initially largely on people with spinal cord injuries, tetraplegia, ALS, etc. And it's since grown. I consider myself extremely fortunate and lucky in having been given the opportunity to work on this field and to really work within an ecosystem that is very, very committed to helping people. Because the reality is, all the solutions we're working on, it's never one person who's done it. You know, I was able to collaborate with Dr. Richard Norman, who was a senior mentor to me, who invented the Utah electrode array as one of the tools that we have in our portfolio. But then I was able to contribute with a team of people a lot towards making technologies more scalable, making them more accessible, robust, and addressing the needs that should really govern everything that we're doing. It all starts with a patient and their needs. It is informed by what, say, the surgeons are providing as input, and the physiology, and that drives what as engineers we're trying to create. And so that led over time to the creation of a lot of patents. And then I'm an engineer, I'm not a scientist. And so the real litmus test is always, do the things that we build work? And so by 2007, that put me in a position where we had to start thinking about how to get the technologies out there, which led to the creation of BlackRock Microsystems at that time. At that time, there was no rush into brain-computer interfaces. The thought of putting devices into people's brains was seen as quite outrageous and extremely high risk. And so we started by supporting the research community with hundreds of labs out there, and said, if we provide you with electrodes, electronics, surgical tools, and software, you can explore anything from epilepsy to Parkinson's to pain, tetraplegia, etc., and hopefully have breakthroughs. And if you do, then you'd come back and work with us, and then help us define products in earnest. So as I said, I much rather have patients sit here than myself. I feel what they can say in a minute or two with them does so much more than anything that we'd be doing. But I'm still grateful to be here and be able to speak on behalf of a lot of people in our community, as researchers, as clinicians, as patients, and then all the engineers that help build things. So thank you very much.
Mohammed, we can't hear you.
Mohammed, are you able to unmute?
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
All right,
perfect.
Again, I was saying thank you, Anna, and thank you, Florian, for this wonderful introduction and really the work you are doing to help persons with disabilities through neurotechnology to have opportunities of therapy and rehabilitation is amazing. And moving on, we would like to know more from you about the work you're doing. And in 4 minutes, each one of you, I would like to ask you, in the development of your products and technologies, how do you involve persons with disabilities and caregivers? In general, should end users among persons with disabilities be more involved in the NeuroAbilities ecosystem development to help design and advocate for solutions, or help define solutions for security and privacy choices? And if so, how we make this possible? Anna, may we start with you?
Yeah, I think, Mohammed, is a really great question. And I think it's key because, for example, in our case, our technology, which is wearable and non-invasive, we have initially designed it to go home, right? So we want to provide brain therapy at home. And one of the things that is really interesting is that depending on whether we are aiming to help patients with depression, which may be suicidal, right? Or patients with epilepsy at home, or patients with Alzheimer's or dementia, right? Every patient has a different kind of pathology, disability, and caregiver, right? So I think that we learn early enough that sometimes the way that we design the technology in the lab or in the company wasn't really optimized for the use case, especially for the caregiver. Just think of the case of dementia or Alzheimer's. Most of our patients there are pretty, old in age, right? So dealing with doing brain stimulation with electrodes, with gel, with an interface cloud connected is a super challenge, right? Which is not the same that an epilepsy kid that has a parent, right? Which is usually much younger, right? So I think that we have really built that into our company and put these patients at the center. And we realized we made so many mistakes in the initial design of the software or the technology, right? That we had to re-engineer the technology for every use case. So I think that now, before we start developing a lot of our software and hardware, we really reach out to these patients and help them, to understand what do we want and really hear what is important for them, because it's not until they are really at the center that you really realize how wrong you may have been, in the technology development. So it looks obvious, but I tell you, technology company like ours are much more driven by technology, and you really have to make this conscious effort to carefully listen to your patient population.
Thank you, Anna. Amazing. And it's very important indeed to engage end users, particularly persons with disabilities, early on from the very beginning of the process of creating these technologies and make them available for them and make them match or respond to their needs. Indeed. Dr. Salzbacher, the same question to you.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy that you're raising that, and Anna is spot on. Technology companies, and by the way, scientists and clinicians, even though we're all driven by the same motivation of wanting to help people, but sometimes you don't see for the forest for the trees, and you're so down in your specialty that you forget that you're doing that for another person. So as I already mentioned a couple of minutes ago, it all starts with a patient and actually goes a step further. It's not only the original input in terms of the requirements. I firmly believe that users and patients need to be integral parts of the development process. And we've already seen that happening. When I look at the vast majority of the, we've so far had, I think, 29 chronic implant patients, 75 total or so. And in many, many, many cases, the people that were pioneers and that were sort of part of these clinical studies immediately became parts of the research teams that helped develop things. And that led us in 2018 at the Society for Neuroscience meeting to propose a panel with a focus of the patient perspective, where we did not put the famous clinicians and professors and other people on the panel. We put patients on the panel.
Mhm.
And even for somebody who's always been driven and committed by that, it was eye-opening that sometimes the priorities and needs can be very, very different. You know, in our case, for example, we learned that in some areas, our devices already provided so much function that people wanted this as a product now. In areas that we felt we still had to work on before we could dare to bring something out there, they felt, yeah, we want to see that happen. But if the question is, can I have this now, or I have to wait another 5, 10, or 15 years, I don't have to hesitate. I want it now, because what you deem to be a major problem is actually a minor one. I can live with it. And so what that really shows us is that we have to make them part of the discussion, the technical discussion, but also the ethics discussion. Because after all, it is them who really are exposed to the major risks and that are learning with that. And one thing that you then realize, which is also kind of common sense to some extent when you think about it as an afterthought, as an engineer, you tend to think of your widget that you're building, you know, look at this, and now it's done. Well, that's when it starts. Once you give it out there to the user or the customer, and as Anna said, people go home with these technologies, that is when you start learning. And so the sooner you can bring things out there, the sooner you can have the end user interact with it, the quicker can you render your technical solution into something that really provides the value. And so I hope we will emphasize it a lot more and not have people build products in an ivory tower and wait until they have FDA clearance for something, get people involved. And if you can, you know, we actually just brought 2 of our patients on board as test drivers, just like in the automotive industry where you get former race car drivers and they come in and help you, or pilots in aerospace companies. They're on board. They're part of the engineering team. They provide input, and they've learned so much over the last 2 years that technically, even without necessarily having a master's or a PhD in some engineering field, they are very, very solid contributors to all of this. So I hope to see more of that, because in the end, these are very complex problems that need an entire village of people behind us to make these things a reality.
Thank you, Dr. Salzbacher. Really, it's amazing how you have touched upon the issue of representation and bringing end users, persons with disabilities, to the table as an important strategy to make sure that the diversity of needs are reflected through the technologies and the products you are offering, and also making sure that they really can go home and benefit from this technology now and not many years later. And this also leads me to the point about how to create the environment to make sure that this technology is really corresponding to ethical issues and also to the real needs of end users, talking about the ecosystem. And Dr. Salzbacher, if I may start with you by asking you, how do you evaluate some of the current regulatory frameworks that are concerned with neurotechnologies today? 4 minutes, if you please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a complex field. You know, it starts with really providing value to a patient, but you're not done there. You obviously, you know, safety always goes first, which is the reason for the regulatory frameworks, and a clear definition of what value and outcomes you can justifiably promise, which is very different from a consumer product. In a medical product, you have to be very, very careful, very precise, and you have to have very, very strong evidence that you can provide what you promise on the box. And so I do believe that the regulatory frameworks that we have right now are really quite good and adequate. And actually, interestingly, after a period where the European systems seem to be a little bit more advantageous in trying to launch new technologies under the new regulations that it's sort of changed, and now the US is sort of an edge again, where it seems to be easier to try something out new. Obviously, initiatives like the FDA breakthrough technology designations, which Anna already commented on, which many of us have pursued, we've also received, which gives you an accelerated path for feedback, and potentially, if Congress is going to pass it, a path towards reimbursement, because you're not done with that yet. Once you have a technology and it's deemed safe and efficacious, you need to convince the payers. And even if, and I firmly believe we should always make sure that these products are as cheap or reasonably priced as possible, such as to make access to them easier and better. Nonetheless, for many people, an implant or a surgery, and even some external devices, if they come with constant support, will be a financial burden that requires insurance coverage. So once you have that covered, you need to make sure that you convince the payers, which is a 3 to 4 year process. And that, I believe, is the biggest hurdle in it. I don't even think it's the FDA and the regulatory bodies. They have learned over the last 10 years that these technologies have become a lot more prominent, and given the importance of neurological disorders, psychological disorders and challenges which are connected to provide pathways for companies to enter, be it through humanitarian device exemptions in niche markets to learn, investigative device exemptions to establish first in humans. In some cases, you may even be able to leverage 510Ks if you have some level of a predicate you can point to. And I think it's become overall easier, and the regulatory bodies have started adding people that are really committed to bring these things out there and that are starting to learn with us, because every new technology, of course, comes with a new risk assessment. If you're very conservative and careful, you minimize risk, but you also really limit the ability of launching something new, and straddling that is very, very difficult. And I don't envy our colleagues there, but I do believe that on the US side, we're really on top of that. In Asia, I see movements where people are willing to take far more risk. The European movement, I can understand where it's coming from, but I'm quite concerned that in consequence, it sets the hurdle so high. Even our very large med device partners are struggling with some of the implementations where something that should be a fancy Me Too device has to go through a full clinical trial. That really does not make any sense at all, and it doesn't help, but it stifles innovation from my point of view.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salzberger. I think you've touched upon very important matters in terms of enhancing the ecosystem of neurotechnologies. Number one, ensuring that regulators would offer or provide the pathways for companies like yours and others to make these technologies available and affordable and risk-free for end users. Risk analysis is very important, and I think, yes, there is a much more role that we need to see being done. And so here we are talking about strategies, and I would like to turn to you, Anna, and ask you, what strategies would you recommend to promote R&D translations into the marketplace?
Well, I think this is a really difficult question. I mean, being a person coming from scientific background and a very, very scientific company, right? I remember in our early days when we used to have an NIH grant or, even an ERC grant, you develop a prototype and then you thought you had a product, right? And I remember how painful and expensive it was to turn a prototype into a product. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just crazy. And one of the things I have missed is that there is not a lot of funding mechanisms that will help you to go from science to a prototype and then from a prototype to a product, right? That's, to me, it's the valley of death, right? So either you're really smart as an entrepreneur and can fund your company until you have something robust, or you may die, along the way. So I think that there are many things we could do. We could have more funding mechanisms that will allow that transition. I think that, especially in Europe, less so in the US, the interaction with business and academia in Europe, it's still a big chasm. It's like, you're going to the dark side. And I just think that that will never help, business to flourish, right? Until we don't make seamless the interaction between, science and business. If you think of MIT, I spend my time in Boston, right? Most of the MIT professors in the ecosystem are linked to startups, are promoting spin-offs and startups, right? So I think that from science, we also have to make sure that there is the interaction, right? And also companies need to invest more in basic research, right? So I think that we need to really make sure we have those bridges, because it takes not only a village, but a tremendous amount of years to go from a scientific concept to something that can be used in the real world. And it's not an easy path. And I just find that, those worlds are too much apart today. So, I think that here the NeuroAbilities community could also help to really bring those bridges, right, between science and business together.
Thank you very much, Anna. This is excellent. I totally agree that bringing together all stakeholders, business sector and academia to the table, and sink in together on how to enhance this, the ecosystem of neurotechnology is very, very important. And actually, this leads me to turn into the next point. Your answer was an excellent segue to talk about scaling up neurotechnology solutions. And this is a question actually to both of you, Anna and Florian. How can the production of neurotech-based assistive solutions be scaled up to make technology affordable to everyone? And what could be the role of consumer markets, and should mainstream industry be more involved with and support NeuroAbilities technologies? Who would like to start?
Anna, do you want to go first? Otherwise, I'll gladly.
You can go, Florian, please.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't want to sort of push forward here. I do appreciate quite a bit. Actually, I would say the medical device, or in particular the implant industry itself, is at a watershed in its development, because traditionally the approach in med devices has been, in particular when it comes to implants, cost is not an issue. You build whatever is necessary. It's almost like going to the moon or Mars or whatever. You demonstrate what is possible, and everything is sort of triple platinum coated. And as long as it gets the function done, that's it. Designing to price, which is something that consumer products have been doing for ages, is a novel concept. Now, I do believe that as we want to, I firmly believe in 20 years from now, we're going to see a lot of these neurotechnologies, whether it's wearable as well as implantable devices, be just as common as cardiac pacemakers are today. You can't forget that 40, 50 years ago, this was a major deal. And, if you were lucky enough to survive a heart attack and, then you had open chest surgery and it put such a device in. Today, it's a prophylactic. And, they're almost ambulatory procedures, with devices becoming smaller and smaller, which enables, even for the implantable side, which is where I'm coming from, less and less invasive surgeries, less risky procedures, etc. Benefiting from that scaling on the consumer side, which allows us to make devices that are cheaper, smaller, faster to build in large volumes, easier to test. I mean, right now, most of the med device industry is people pushing wires into plastic tubes manually, and then it's sort of welded together and coated, which is hard to do if you want to scale up and you want to keep things cheap enough. And there are advances, for example, in the electronics industry, in new flexible substrates that are used in iPhones and in other areas that have capabilities that, for example, can be used quite well in a brain implant setting. So I think we're going to see changes there. There are efforts. The industry itself has woken up and realized that, all the way from the large med device players down to innovators and small and medium-sized companies. Whether these technologies will actually enter consumer spaces, that is a very difficult and different ethical question. And when you look at Neuralink, for example, that at least when they started, really sort of pushed for a vision where able-bodied people may want to have implants. I think that is an important discussion where, for example, on our side, we've set up an ethics board right away in our company, because we don't want to fall into the trap that some of the social media fell into, in sort of taking off. Everybody's excited about what we can do with it, and then we start thinking about the implications, because as soon as these technologies do become more available, people may start thinking about uses in that space. But again, for us and for me personally, that was never the focus. The focus was on helping people, and I want to make sure we don't screw this up by scaring people with sort of the visions that may come out of Hollywood movies or other areas. So all of this is connected with the scaling question and the connection on the consumer side. Long story short, I think we can learn a lot. We can leverage technologies there. I do believe that we will see this help us drive costs down. It will eventually also lead to trends of people thinking about business models that are not driven by somebody having lost a function. And I do believe we have a responsibility as engineers and entrepreneurs to think about that early and work with a society to see what, as a society, we're comfortable with doing and what you want to enable.
Wonderful, wonderful, excellent. I totally agree. The ongoing evaluation of the outcomes of technology is very important to make sure that there is no such a risk, and that we won't recognize until later. And we need to definitely involve society and different stakeholders in the industrial world and in the marketplace. Anna, what would you like to add?
Well, I think that Florian put it really well. I think that it's a mix of super excitement, because I think that Neurotech is going to be the brain age, right? The brain is the next frontier, right? And I think it's going to allow us to do human enhancement, treat diseases that they don't have a cure today, deal with pandemics like mental health. So I think there is a promise there, but with the promise also comes with the responsibility that Florian was saying, right? Technology is going to allow to scale. The question is, are we going to make good use? Or, like in the case of social media, if you think of brain technologies, you're tapping directly into the brain, right? So this is something that is fundamentally more transformational and has higher risk. So, I'm also conscious of, is the field, the sector, society, and humans, are going to make the best use of this technology. And we really think as developers, we really need to drive an ethical direction, because again, tapping with the brain is what really makes us human at the end, right? So I think that we have to be extra cautious with all these brain interfaces.
Wonderful, and that's excellent. And actually, this leads us, as we are now reaching to the end of our session today, so we would conclude. And I would like to ask you to, for 2 minutes, to share with us some of your thoughts on some of the most important potential developments and success factors for the future. What would you like to see happening? Anna?
To me, I think that, the reason why I wake up every morning is to really be able to develop therapies that don't exist today And I think that patients will benefit from. I think that drugs have taken all the stage during years. I think there are other ways to deal with brain diseases that are not chemical. And I think that by helping patients short term, we are going to learn about the brain in ways that we couldn't imagine before. So to me, I think that I would love to see these therapies being deployed, the sooner the better, and then learn from this at-home deployment, stimulate patients, record data from patients, and learn about the brain to really help many other populations, also disabled populations in ways we cannot even imagine right now. So this is just the beginning of, the conquering to the brain.
Excellent. Florian?
Yeah, this time Anna has pretty much captured it perfectly. I think we share that in common. I do hope that, starting next year, we'll see some of our first products commercially be out there. This is sort of a first tiny baby step in that direction. But then, I do feel we'll see this develop into platforms that will reach out into, a vast array of neurological and psychological disorders and provide real additional treatment options, in some places replacing pharma, in some cases work in conjunction with it. And, and the major part could be aging population with memory and other functional and cognitive limitations that are setting in. And so I really feel we're a little bit, and I've said that before, like the Wright brothers with a Kitty Hawk, where look, it can fly, so sort of taking off for 200 feet. We're not in the golden age of jetliners yet, but I do feel we're at an inflection point, and I do hope in my lifetime to see this taking off and really making a step forward. So grateful to be there. I'm grateful to all the people, our entire community. There's so many people that are committed to helping, and the ones that make this a reality. And so thank you for, allowing me to be a sort of a spokesperson for that. But we do want to recognize how many people are behind us that all help move this forward. And we should keep reconnecting every year or two to see how things have accelerated. But I do believe we're really going to see this breakthrough. And it's wonderful because in the end, time's the most valuable thing. And so it's all a question of what you do with the time that you're given. And we're very fortunate to be able to spend it this way. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Florian. Thank you, Anna. That was wonderful. Let's be optimistic. We are all seeing that this world of neurotechnologies for assistive technology is really promising. And if we continue to work together, and especially if we make sure to involve persons with disabilities, end users, caregivers, industries, all stakeholders together to make sure that what we are trying to offer persons with disabilities through neurotechnologies is really affordable and risk-free. We are all working with work with all regulators to really give the right support that this neurotechnologies stakeholders or key players are going to do what they want to do and fulfill their dreams by offering the kind of support, and whether it's therapy or assistive living or whatever, it's going to change and improve or enhance the quality of life of persons with disabilities and their inclusion in society. Thank you very much, Anna and Florian, again. And I would like to also thank Teresa and Cassandra for their great work behind this session. And I'd like to also our colleagues from IAAP, Rachel and Lindsay, who are behind the scene helping us making this event possible. Thank you very much. And we all wish you a wonderful Enabling Summit this year. And we look forward to staying in touch and see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
See you soon.